A man at 71 sits with his coffee at the kitchen table. The newspaper is open to the obituaries. That's what he reads first every morning now. But today there's something else on the table. A printed email from the community college. Spanish 101 fall semester, enrollment is confirmed. He has not been a student in 53 years. And he's not even sure why he did it. What he is sure of is one thing only. Today is the first day in 2 years he doesn't know what the next year of his life is going to feel like. And for the first time since his wife died, he is actually glad about it. Citizens, here's what your brain needs to know this week. This week, we're entering domain number 4, mental challenge. The domain the science has spent the longest time studying, and the one most citizens think they have already figured out. But before we walk into domain 4, we have already walked through 3 rooms together. The body that moves, the hours that wash the brain clean, and the food that builds the brain. Today, we add the 4th, the mind that gets used. Now, domain 1, movement. In 2011, Dr. Kirk Erickson of University of Pittsburgh, 120 adults ages 55 to 80, 1 year, have walked 40 minutes 3 times a week. At the end of the year, the walker's hippocampus had grown by 2%. They had turned back the clock 1 or 2 years on the memory center of the brain from walking to the mailbox. That was domain 1. Domain 2, sleep. In 2021, Dr. Severine Sabia of University College London, the Whitehall study, almost 8,000 adults, 25 years of follow-up. Adults who consistently slept 6 hours or less at ages 50, 60, and 70 were associated with 30% higher risk of dementia than those who consistently slept 7. Sleep is not the night before. Sleep is the years. That was domain number 2. Domain 3, food. In 2015, Dr. Martha Claire Morris at Rush University, 923 adults, average of 4.5 years of follow-up. Citizens who followed the MIND diet moderately, not perfectly, were associated with a 35% lower risk of Alzheimer's. Leafy greens, berries, fish, nuts, beans, and olive oil. That was domain number 3. You walked through 3 rooms. Now we walk into the 4th. Now, I'm going to take a minute and tell you what we see when the door closes. Because we have been in close to 2,000 homes. And there is a difference between the homes where someone has kept their mind awake and the homes where they have not. I will tell you what I see. What we see in the awake homes, citizens. Let me tell you what we see when the door closes. We have been in close to 2,000 homes. And there is a difference between the homes where someone has kept their mind awake and the homes where they have not. Now let me tell you what we see. In the awake homes, there's a crossword puzzle by the chair. There's a stack of library books on the side table. There's an open piano with sheet music on it. There's a half-finished sweater on the couch. There's a grandchild's homework that was brought to the grandma's house intentionally. In the other homes, the television has been on since breakfast. The chair faces one direction. The same magazine is on the coffee table from last month. Now, I'm not telling you to read. I'm not even telling you to play the piano. What I am telling you is what the kitchen looks like in a home where someone has kept their mind awake. Now, we're going to tell you about the science. And what we're telling you is from hundreds of homes. The awake homes look different. Now, here's the science. Early this year, a study was published in the journal Neurology. Researchers at the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center in Chicago followed nearly 2,000 adults for 8 years. They scored each citizen on a lifetime of cognitive change, being read to as a child, studying languages, reading books, visiting museums, playing chess and board games, staying mentally engaged into their 80s. Per unit of that lifetime enrichment, Alzheimer's risk was associated with a 38% reduction. The most engaged 10% delayed the clinical onset of Alzheimer's by 5 years compared to the least engaged 10%. 5 years. And here's what changes the conversation. When researchers examined the brain of 948 of these adults after death, the highly engaged brain still had the same plaques and tangles as everyone else's. The lifelong learning didn't stop the damage, but the engaged brains still worked better, even with the same damage. That is what they call cognitive reserve. That is what infrastructure built over decades looks like. Most citizens think of mental challenge as a hobby, the library card, the book club, the crossword. We're here to tell you it is infrastructure, not a hobby, not a nice to have. The thing that holds the building up when the storm comes. Some citizens have spent 40 years building this infrastructure. The brain, when it loses cells, and we all will, has scaffolding to fall back on. Some citizens have not. And the science says it is not too late to start. The 70-year-old who picks up Spanish, the 75-year-old who joins a chess club, the 80-year-old who reads 3 books a month. Every one of those acts is a brick in the infrastructure. Now, citizens, quick pause. If this is the kind of truth that you came here for, I want you to hit subscribe, because every week we come back here with one job. That's your brain, your money, and your life. And we don't ask the industry for permission because we don't care what the industry thinks. We give you the truth because you deserve it. Now, subscribers, you get every episode, every segment, every fact check, and you get it first. So I want you to subscribe. It would mean the world to us. And stay in the nation. Now, before we tell you about Walter, I want to give you a quick word about something that Bridget and I have built together. Because some citizens need more than a blueprint. They need someone to actually walk into the home with them. So listen up, citizens. Most of you know Bridget and I co-own a Touch of Love Home Care. We built it because families walk into the home care market and ever get told the truth. Now, we're both certified dementia trainers, but we don't sell ours. We sit at the kitchen table with you first. Companionship, care, dementia specialized support for citizens and the people who love them. A Touch of Love Home Care.com. Or call us at 203-927-7543. And we answer the phone. Now, let's get back to Walter. Citizens, I want you to meet Walter. Walter is 71 years old, retired 3 years ago after 36 years of teaching high school history in Connecticut. His wife of 43 years passed away 2 summers ago. Since then, television after dinner, television until he fell asleep on the couch, television again at the kitchen table on Sunday morning. Last September, for a reason he still does not fully understand, Walter clicked an email link. Community college, 65 and older, fall semester, 1 free course. He chose Spanish. And he chose Spanish because he and his wife had always talked about going to Spain, but they had never gone. Tuesday and Thursday nights, 6 to 8, in a classroom of 19 students. Walter was the oldest by 26 years. The first week, he couldn't roll the R. The second week, he could. The third week, for the first time since the funeral, he laughed at something out loud in front of strangers. He told his daughter on the phone, "I'm going to be terrible at this." She said, "Dad, you have not been terrible at anything in your life. You have been pretty good at giving up, though." Then she cried, and he cried with her, and they kept talking. Walter finished the semester with a B-. He signed up for Spanish 102 in the spring. He bought a ticket to Madrid in March by himself. Now, Walter's not curing anything. Walter is doing the thing his mother used to call becoming. His brain is paying attention. The industry never respected us. We were customers to them. Numbers on a spreadsheet. But we're building a nation, and in this nation, citizens get the truth. Now, here's the honest version. The American Academy of Neurology, the same association that publishes the journal where this study appeared, they want me to tell you exactly this. This study does not prove that lifelong learning lowers your risk of dementia or risk of Alzheimer's. It only shows an association. And I want you to read those words carefully. It is associated with lower risk. It is associated with delayed onset. It's associated with better cognition at the same level of plaques. That means it's not a guarantee, but it is infrastructure. Infrastructure does not stop bad things from happening. Infrastructure is what holds up when bad things happen. Some buildings come down anyway. Some stand longer than they should have. But the difference at the end is the foundation. That is what the 948 brains told us after death. Same plaques, same tangles, different foundation, different cognition. So here's your starting point. This week, one act of infrastructure, one library card, one museum membership, one language app, one chess game with a grandchild, one conversation with the neighbor about something you have never asked them about. That's domain 4, starting. You walk through 4 rooms today. 4, the movement, the sleep, the food, and now the mind. I want you to know you're not behind. You're actually right on time. But citizens, before you go, if something this hour landed for you, hit subscribe. It would mean the world to us. And we saved you a seat in the nation. And we'll be right here next week with the same job, your brain, your money, and your life. Because we don't age quietly, we age wealthily. Take care of your brain, people.